had the best day today going out to lunch with my girlfriends. It's always fun when we can get together and hang out. So I got home and I thought I still have daylight, so maybe I'll just go ahead and shoot the intro for this next set of videos on our Harry Potter Amigurumi by Lucy Collins. This time it's all about the face. This video is pretty long. I'm going to try to cut it down to maybe 15 minutes or so, but this is all about the face. So grab your needle, grab your thread, and let's get started. Looking ahead at the instructions, we're going to do a great deal of stitching using simply our needle right now. As you can tell in these colored photos make it a little bit easier, but we're going to use our needle right now. Then we're going to come back, and in rounds 20 we're still going to be crocheting with our medium gray yarn. And so I don't want you to cut the yarn off just yet. Grab some stuffing and go ahead and start stuffing our Harry Potter head. And as you stuff, you can kind of shape it. If it gets a little elongated, you can certainly shape his head back into a nice round shape. Now if you get in here and it's not quite going where you want it, grab your crochet hook, preferably using the tail end of your hook, and kind of push that stuffing into the place that you want it to be. Okay, I feel like I have my Harry Potter's head stuffed quite firmly, and I'll grab my needle and that black thread and go ahead and start stitching the eyes or the glasses on and the mouth. And we're also going to stitch a little jagged scar. I feel that the pattern box came with plenty of black thread, and so I'm going to just open it up, kind of get the kinks out of it so that when I'm stitching I don't end up tying a knot. Once your thread is completely detangled, go ahead and thread your needle, leaving a nice length at the end because we do have plenty of black thread. And coming up inside through the stuffing, start on one of Harry's eyes and start taking small stitches around his eyes to make the glasses. I think we want to pull a good deal through because we're going to make this a continual line across between his eyes and around both eyes for the glasses. So pull a good amount through. You could even pull it all the way through to the end, leaving some on the inside so it doesn't come out. And then we're just going to make small stitches around his eyes. And I like making a back stitch. So where I came through, I just come up underneath on the underside of my thread, coming all the way past that first stitch and up through to the second. And then gently pull it through so you don't tangle. And we will want to make small stitches here so that you can make the make the circle look even. And again, if you do it and don't like it, pull it out and start again. You can tell right here that this stitch is a little bit larger, and when I stuffed it, you could have quite a gap there. But I think that when we get all of our stitching in with the glasses, it won't be noticeable. Try to keep the glasses evenly spaced around his eye so that, at least from a distance, it's going to look fairly continuous, as the rim of glasses should. Until each time I'm coming in at the end of my last stitch and coming in front of the tail. Again, trying to keep an even spacing around his eye. She doesn't say in her pattern to backstitch, so if you like stitching a different way, that's great. I just like the backstitch. I feel like it gives me a little more control. And then I'm going to come back up to the start and come in right there, so I'm about evenly spaced at the middle of his eyes, and I'm going to again backstitch across the crochet. And trying to start at the same distance from the second eye, I'm going to begin making the rim of the glasses. If you have any questions or comments about technique, please leave them in the comment section below. I really love reading your comments, and I learn a lot from the things that you guys have tried and been successful at. So if you do have tips or tricks or just questions, please leave a comment below. As we come back around and finish up our last 2 stitches, we'll tuck our needle inside the head and come down to where the mouth is. So on this last stitch, you're going to come in, maybe whatever looks right to you. He is smiling in the picture. So I'm going to maybe come in right below the center of his glasses, maybe a little off. You can tell that she has come in. I'm going to show you in the colored picture. She's come in kind of at maybe the 5 o'clock portion of his glasses up to the 5 o'clock portion of his other glasses. So see if I can get it to about that same point. And it looks like she's really not even a complete stitch down from the glasses. So since we're back stitching, you want to make that last stitch on his glasses come in and then out where you're going to start the mouth. And again, if you don't like something, you can certainly pull it out. I'm going to make this a really small stitch and then come down so that my next stitch is going to be a little bit bigger. And I think we want the base of his smile, the bottom part of his smile, to be about center with the white stitches that we did earlier. And then we start curving back up. You can tell that I didn't put my needle in where it needed to be right there. So I can either pull it out or I'm going to try to cheat and kind of come in and redo that stitch. There we go. I think that'll work. And then coming in here and back up to where I want his smile to end. Not really loving that, so I'm going to come back in here and see if I can't kind of put this stitch a little bit more in place. Now she has his scar right here, but you can tell that we're also going to put hair on. So again, she has his scar coming off the glasses at maybe 1 o'clock. So I'm going to pop this stitch up here and come in right off of the tip of his glasses and hopefully start the scar right there so that when we put the hair on, the center of the hair will just show that scar. Okay. As I push his head a little more circular, his mouth kind of falls into place. So I'm going to live with that. Hopefully from watching me do this, yours will look a little better. We're going to go ahead and try that scar now. It looks like it's 1 stitch up. Almost straight up from where you inserted the first time. And then she does a little jag. I'm going to make that part just a little bit longer. And this time I'm not back stitching. I'm just going straight in because I want to come out with the side of his scar. So we make it that kind of jagged Z. And then it looks like she started coming back up to make the final piece of the scar. All right, so then I'm just going to take my needle and bring it over where I think the hair is going to cover, because we're working with peach yarn and black thread and parts of it may show, so I want to come up high enough. Oh, that looks pretty good. I want to come in high enough so that we're going to cover that up with our brown yarn when we do his hair. So I'm going to go ahead and take a couple of stitches in here just to secure that black. They're going to be stitches inside. Just don't want that, any of the black stitching to come off. And then I'm going to kind of push his head down, pull that tight so that when I cut it, the end will be inside. Got a little bit of a pulled yarn right here. I think I can tuck that right in if I go in with my crochet hook. You can see that on the screen. I'm going in with my crochet hook. Obviously I split the yarn right there. See if I can go in and just kind of grab that piece and pull it to the inside. It's possible it'll be covered up with his hair anyway, but in case it's not, I have it to the inside now. We have the start of Harry's clothing. I feel like my shirt is off just a bit from the center of things, so I could go in and add another white stitch over here or two to try to make that a little more even, but I kind of think if I add the tie right here, I don't know, we'll see. I might go back in with white yarn. I think I will. I just want that to be a little more even. Now that I've put his mouth on, I can see that I'm off center with my white. And I don't think it's really a bad thing to have a little more white showing than she says. So again, if your crochet stitches did not produce the look that you want, we can come back in with our white thread, leaving a good tail because it's going to be tucked up underneath. And I'm going to come over here and come up underneath like this. And I'm going to put in a few stitches over here so that my white shows. Come down maybe. Bring that back inside. And then make a nice back stitch to even out the white. There you go. That brings his white center with his eyes and his glasses and everything. So I think that's a better look. And then I'm just going to come up, kind of solidify that center because that's where our tie is going to go. And then I'm going to push my needle through, finish that off. I like that, so I'm going to go ahead and cut my white, stuff the tail up inside. I hope that went well for you guys. Everyone's face is going to look a little bit different. Please follow us on Instagram and post your pictures. We'd love to see how your Harry Potter's turning out. And I'll see you next time on Crafting with Nana. Bye!